Hey guys, welcome back to the Musings&Review channel. I'm your host Maverick, and today's a special day for we are starting a new series. You guys asked for it, Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, or more commonly known as, and quite literally translated as, Your Lie in April. So, as I mentioned before, I hosted a sort of like voting competition in regards to what other, old animes that you guys would like me to watch for this season, as there is some space in the schedule for one more. And so, contrary to what a lot of people were asking for and whatnot, and to the surprise of me as well, we actually got Your Lie in April in first place, narrowly beating out A Place Further in the Universe and Violet Evergarden. Now, this took me quite by surprise as well, because in the pre-discussions, nobody was mentioning Your Lie in April. Well, okay, maybe nobody is a little bit hyperbole, but most people were saying some other stuff, right? I guess it just goes to show that the vocal people are quite often the vocal minority, right? And there's a silent majority here. So, well, that's okay, right? Because it does give me an excuse to finally watch this, which has been on my plan to watch list for a long time now. In fact, I'm sure most of you are probably asking, Maverick, why have you not seen this before? Well, you guys know how, for instance, a place where you live, or, your house, or your home, or the place you rent or something, if there's a very good cafe or a good exhibit or attraction near to it, you always think to yourself, okay, it's just right next to where I live, right? I can go there anytime. And then so in the end, you never go there, right? I'm not sure how many of you can relate to this. That's certainly how I do a lot of things when I was in, for instance, when I was in university. There are some places that were like right next to it, and then I never went there throughout all my college years or whatnot. So it's sort of similar to that. 2014, I believe the end of 2014 is when this anime came out. That was a time when I really didn't watch much anime. I was much more of a manga reader and a light novel reader. And then later on, when I started watching anime, well, it just always seemed there, right? I don't know, it's something that I could pick up and watch anytime, but I chose not to because there was always something new along the pipeline. And so, anyways, now I guess it's as good a time as any to watch this. And honestly, even though I normally do my videos, I structure my videos into 3 parts: the introduction or recap, the actual reaction, and then the review part at the end. Honestly, for Your Lie in April, I probably don't need to explain much more. This is a critically acclaimed anime. The animation studio behind it, A1, is one of the best in the industry. All the voice actors are big-name voice actors, and the sound director himself is legendary as well. Aketagawa Jin. Right, Jin-san. Honestly, if you look at my channel for all the series I've done, he's probably the sound director for like half of those works, right? He is one legendary dude. About the only one who I don't know from the staff list or whatnot would be the director himself. But that's okay, right? Because, like I said, Your Lie in April is critically acclaimed. It's got a lot of awards and lots of people love it. So, in regards to the actual subject matter, I do know that it deals with, it's a romance, it's a drama, and it deals with the subject matter of classical music, right? Well, anyways, I do enjoy music works, music anime. As you guys can see, I do play instruments myself. And fun fact, actually my very first instrument was a violin. I picked up the violin when I was about, I don't know, 5, 6 or something. And in fact, I would say that violin is probably still the instrument which I have the most years under my belt. I played that all the way up into high school, starting from a quarter violin, quarter-size violin, to 3/4 violin, to full size, and so on and so forth. However, disclaimer, I have not touched a violin since graduating from high school, right? As it turns out, something that your parents force you to learn is still quite different from something that you choose yourself. Let's put it that way. And of course, as all violinists who play a certain number of years also do, we typically have some basic piano experience as well. It's just the thing to do when you're learning the violin. You would, along the road, also take some time to learn piano as well. So I do have a background in piano and violin, maybe not quite in classical works, but well, you know, it's something that you have to go through, basically. So, I guess it'll be fun, right, to see what kind of references they bring. I don't know how big the actual musical references are, like how big of a theme it's going to play within this entire anime, but if I can identify some of them, I'll be pretty happy, right? Maybe they're gonna go for some more obscure works, but I have a feeling probably not, right? They're probably gonna go with more mainstream classical works to appeal to the audience, if you will. But anyways, that's been enough talking. Let's just jump right into the episode right now. Alrighty, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright. Sakura Flowers. So I'm guessing this is the start of a school year. I quite like the art style. It's definitely a very manga art style. I mean, this was adapted from a manga. Ah. Hikaru Nara by Goose House. Yeah, I do know this song. It's quite famous. And one of my favorite bands covered it as well. Poppin' Party. In terms of, you know, because this is the first episode, I will watch through the opening once, but with the sound muted, of course. I don't want to get copyright struck. I think with the classical music, I probably won't have to do that. Okay. Keep it raw. Yeah, I do love this song. Alright. Starting off with some Beethoven. Moonlight Sonata. Okay, a child prodigy. It looks like maybe elementary school. That's quite meta. So he's playing popular music now? Hmm. Man, you really don't see this kind of animation style that much more. Oh shit, he got murdered. Holy crap, dude. Kosei. Tsubaki. Recording? Alright. Don't touch it with your... Hmm. Okay, a childhood friend? So let me guess, this is gonna be a childhood friend versus newcomer type of romance. Okay. So just sort of establishing the town, establishing the characters. Man, this is such a pretty anime, I gotta say. I really enjoy this art style. So is the guy else? No, I guess the guy didn't grow up with them. What daddy? Why? Okay, mid-school. Okay. So we got a depressed kid. So, long time neglected by his family, I guess. Well, this is certainly a gloomy looking house. Okay. So his mom passed away, his father is always at work, he's an only child, so he lives by himself. Ah, okay. Kinda get the setting. What? That was during the competition? Why though? Illness? Or does it have something to do with his mom? What were you expecting him to do? Is he writing the sheet music to this song? $11, $13, $14. Alright. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's because of his mom? Okay. Mm-hmm. Was it in the middle of the competition? I mean, I'm sure you still have all the music theory and stuff within your head. Sorry, I know it's supposed to be emotional, but I can't help but to be a little bit cynical with this kind of stuff. What? Okay, so love at first sight, I guess. Really? Crying? What? Okay. That's a pretty talented recorder right there. Okay. Really? Pigeons that react to music? That's quite nice. So, a panty shot or something? Okay. Okay, so these two? Okay. Okay. Really? What? Of course, the blonde girl has to be the gorilla type girl. Really? Wow. Okay. I'm definitely thinking, though. Your lie in April, with the Sakura Flowers and the new school year. This is definitely April right now. But seriously, this girl is super likable just from this first episode. Friend A? Alright. Nice. Pretty damn nice. Alrighty, so that was the first episode of Your Lie in April. And I gotta say, I dig it. I can definitely see why this series is so well regarded. I mean, just from this first episode alone, you can tell the quality of the animation, of the characters, of the sounds, you know, the whole package, right? It just screams high quality work. Even without getting into the story. Like, to be honest, this first episode was fairly slow paced, right? And through half of the episode, we're not really sure where we're going with this. It's just them, you know, we're seeing their daily lives of the three friends who are already here on the scene. But even so, you're not really bored of anything because the whole thing is just so pretty in a way, right? The background, the animation, the character styles, and also the way the camera work, you know, pans to all these different scenes and focuses on them. It gives a really artistic vibe to it that, you know, it just screams high quality, right? And like I said, it's not even without even knowing anything of the story, which we'll get to a little bit later. And in terms of the characters themselves as well, like Kaori, who is probably the main heroine of this work, like, she has such an attractive personality, right? Even though she was in this episode for only like the very beginning for a few seconds and then to the very end, you know, she basically captured the the attention of the whole show, if you will. Like, at least for me anyways. She definitely had a very standout personality, a very standout and a very standout character, if you will. I love that she's sort of like this giddy, very uplifting, very cheerful girl. In stark contrast to our main character, Kaose, who is more of a brooding type, if you will, due to some trauma in his past. And I'm guessing that this kind of dynamic between them, the light and dark, is part of what's going to make the story so compelling in the future. You can already see that there's probably going to be, just from the end scene, with Kaori taking Kaose's hand and pulling him along, right, pulling him from the darkness into the light, right. I feel like that is definitely a theme that is going to be recurring throughout this series as a whole. I can tell you for a fact right now. And the other characters themselves, like Kaose, well, okay. I'm not gonna talk too much about him yet, because I'm still not entirely sure like what exactly happened to his past. Like, does he currently not play the piano anymore due to some kind of injury or illness, or is it purely mental in a sense, in regards to his deceased mom, right? So we'll get to that maybe a little bit later once we know a little bit more information. And also, you can definitely tell that this is going to be a romance, and it's going to be a multi-sided romance. Probably not just a love triangle, probably a love square, or rectangle, if you will, right? You can, like, from this episode, that Kaori sort of wants to meet Ryota, the athletic dude, right? But Kosei, our main character, sort of kind of developed a crush on Kaori. But then you also got this Tsubaki childhood friend character, this childhood, this girl who's known Kosei. They've known each other for most of their lives. You can definitely tell that she cares a lot about Kosei as well, right? And especially in some of the, I guess, the small things that she does. For instance, in a scene where Kosei was trying to pick up the glass, which Tsubaki broke, she stopped him, right? Because she didn't want him to hurt. She didn't want him to hurt his hand, and I'm assuming that's probably because of her knowing that to Kosei, being able to play music, being able to play piano or write music or whatnot, is an integral part of his life, right? So she doesn't want him to harm his hands. That might hinder his abilities in these sorts of these sorts of abilities, if you will. So you can see these kinds of hints as well. Now, of course, you can also argue that this can also be platonic as well, but I don't think so. I think there's definitely going to be a big, romantic circle, square, if you will, between all four of them, and possibly some other people as well. You never know. The art style does remind me a lot of the there's a certain subset of manga that's written for girls, if you will. But I don't think that is necessarily what this is about. At least I'm pretty sure that the original manga wasn't written for girls. It's just that the art style is sort of similar to that kind of art style. And yeah, beyond that, the music, fantastic, not only in the recreation of the classical music parts, but also in the insert songs as well. Definitely higher quality than they should probably be playing, considering their age and whatnot. Oh, and speaking of age, I was actually a little bit surprised by this, because I went into this essentially blind, right? I know some of what it's about, and it's between a violinist and a pianist. I know that, but looking at the key visuals and stuff, I was actually expecting them to be in high school, or maybe possibly even in college, right? I did not expect them to actually be in mid school. So yeah, well, yeah, all I can say is this is a pretty damn impressive first episode, and I want to know more. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do right now. It's a little bit late, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and watch episode 2 as well. So let's talk a little bit more there. I'll see you guys in just a while. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and I'll see you guys next time.